If you love ordering arancini when you're out to eat and maybe even want to learn how to make it, today I'm going to bring your favorite Italian restaurant right to your home and show you how to make a delicious homemade arancini. It's so easy to make, and I'm going to be doing it in partnership with my friends over at Bob's Red Mill. Arancini are fried risotto balls, and classically in the Sicilian recipe, you would stuff them up with bolognese and some mozzarella cheese. Well, I actually am not a huge fan of that. I like to sort of serve them up alongside a homemade tomato sauce and sort of dip it in there. So I'm gonna give you my take, starting with fontina cheese. What you wanna do is simply medium to large dice up about 4 ounces of fontina cheese. And no offense, in America, you're most likely using a regular whole milk mozzarella, where in Italy, they'd be using an Italian water buffalo milk mozzarella, which is insanely more delicious. And fontina is just one of those underrated cheeses that I absolutely love. It's gonna kill it in this arancini recipe. Next, I've got some peas, and you're only gonna need about a half cup to maybe a 3/4 cup. If you have some frozen, just simply thaw them to room temperature. Don't cook them or they're gonna turn real mushy. And that's just about all the prep you'll need on the front side of arancini. Obviously, we still have to bread them up. So right now, I'm gonna pull some risotto out of the refrigerator. I made an awesome recipe the other day and have about a half gallon left. This is just an awesome way to use this up. And I mean this sincerely, and probably because I'm Italian. There is no better culture when it comes to food that is better at reusing ingredients. Whether it's steak pizzaiola from leftover pizza sauce, or a panzanella salad from leftover crusty bread, and in this case, leftover risotto to be used in arancini. It's insane. Whoever made this, thank you. So what you want to do to start is wet your hands a little bit. I'm going to use some gloves because I don't want to get too messy. The water will help keep the risotto from sticking. You want to apply a little bit to your hand and press it down. It'll be about maybe 3 inches in diameter. Take some of those fontina chunks and place them in the center of that risotto. Next, I'm gonna add on a few peas, maybe 6 to 8 or so. Then take another piece of risotto in your other hand and put it right over top, flatten them together, and then roll them into a ball. You really just want to repeat this process until all the risotto has been used. This half gallon will give me about 15 arancinis, which is a ton, and can feed quite a few people. So you got a little party going down, my friends. This is the recipe for you. We're just gonna pop these in the refrigerator, and right before we start with the breading procedure, we are gonna put some oil in a pan right onto the cooktop on medium heat. We want to get it to about 350 to 375 degrees. And Comies, this one's for you. This is a standard breading procedure consisting of flour, egg wash, and breadcrumbs. I'm going to be using Bob's Red Mill all-purpose flour loaded with protein, just a fantastic all-around kitchen flour for any recipe, whether it's cakes or breads. We're going to add that right to a little pan. Going to season it with some sea salt, pepper, give it a little stir to completely combine everything. And then the next pan, I have a few eggs, so go ahead and crack about 3, maybe 4 into the pan. Likewise, we're gonna season with sea salt, pepper. Whisk this together with a fork or a little whisk, just like you're making scrambled eggs, until it's completely combined and broken down. And then, of course, in that last pan, we've got some breadcrumbs. I like them unseasoned so I can season them myself. Put them right into the pan. Again, season it with sea salt, pepper, mix it together until it's combined. And it's really important to season each of these stages. Yes, the risotto has already been seasoned in the recipe that I made it, but if you season that outside breadcrumb, everything is gonna be delicious. It's these little techniques that will help you make anything from home and from scratch. What you wanna do now is take those risotto balls out of the refrigerator. We're first going to put it into the flour, move it around until they are completely coated on all sides. Next, put it in the egg wash. I like to use my other hand here, so I got one for dry and one for wet. Roll it around, get it completely coated again. Then put it right into the breadcrumbs, switch back to the other hand, roll it around so that it's completely coated. You're not looking for some crazy thick breadcrumb crust by any stretch. You just want to make sure it's coated in the breadcrumbs. Repeat the process until all of the arancini have been completely breaded up. We're just going to place them on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper, and then we're going to go back over to the cooktop where our oil is. You want this oil to be somewhere around 345 to 360 degrees. If you have a candy thermometer, go ahead and check it out. If not, I always say just sprinkle a little bit of flour in there. If it starts to fry and it doesn't burn, you're in a good place. Better to cook at a lower temperature than a higher temperature, because then your outside arancini will be dark and burned and then kind of raw in the middle, so that's no good. Add a few of the arancini to the oil using a slotted spoon, 5 at a time, so I'll do 3 batches. Don't worry, they won't really clump together when they're frying in the oil, but you definitely don't want to overcrowd it so that certain sides or parts of the arancini won't get that perfect golden brown crust on them. I like to move them around with the spoon just to make sure they're getting cooked on all sides, and then simply set them to the side on a sheet tray lined with parchment paper. And just so you can see it, we'll pull one out of the deep fryer, set it on your cutting board, either using your hands, I would suggest using a knife, slice it in half. And if that cheese in the center has melted or just about completely melted all the way, we are in fantastic shape. These are going to be so good, you all. Finish up the rest of the arancini. You can see they look absolutely beautiful. Let's head over to our countertop where we're going to plate everything up. So taking a few ladles out of my pomodoro sauce that I made, I'm just going to put it right into a serving bowl. Add on a few of the fried arancini, garnish it with some fresh basil, and boom, you've got yourself some homemade arancini straight from the restaurant, right from your own hands in your own house. Just like I always say, homemade food from scratch just tastes better. So if you love all Italian food, then you absolutely have to check out my chicken parmigiana recipe, and I'll see you on that video.